Live right now.
Live right now. All right. 46 likes. Let's see how many people are on. 46 likes. It'll tell me in a couple minutes. All right. Oh, shit. How's that?
Good for me.
Hopefully. Let's see. Let me double check.
Introducing Domino's Carside
Nope.
Delivery. Just pull up, check in, and we bring
Let's see.
All right, guys. How are we doing tonight? Let me fix
No
my...
compromises. Powerful.
All right, guys. How do I look and how do I sound? For some reason, it doesn't sound right. Sound good? All right, no. Everyone says sound... Well, not everyone. A couple people said sound good. All right, good. 5 by 5. All right. Let's get into it. So, guys, thank you for joining us tonight. This is Financial Prepper. He's a small YouTube channel. He has a couple of videos. He's been obviously busy with what's going on, and so he's getting more of his content on, so don't worry about that. Do yourself a favor, head over to his channel and like and subscribe. So other than that, this is Financial Prepper. You want to say something? Anything?
Yeah, hey everybody. New YouTuber. Kind of getting set up with getting some videos out. I got a busy schedule, and then living in Louisiana, we've been hit with a lot of hurricanes. 7 hurricanes, matter of fact, this whole hurricane season. So that kind of put a damper of really getting content out as fast as some other YouTubers might. That, and I just try to do it, trying to make sure everything is done properly, and just kind of learning how to do it. So I'm got a little slow going, but appreciate you just watching the videos. And if you got any questions, always send me an email or make a comment, and I'd love to just respond or clarify anything for you guys.
All right. Well, thank you for that. So, EDC TV, thank you for that donation. I appreciate it. All right. So some people say they can't hear me. My volume is low. Other people said it's good. Hold on.
No comments on me though. Normally they say the other guy kind of has volume problems. No comments on me though. Normally they say the.
Yeah. No, you're fine. You're okay.
Okay, good deal.
Let's see. Why is it low? I noticed that my income is low. How's that now? Yeah, both sound great. He's good. AP is low. Nah, whatever. We'll figure it out as we go along. So anyway, let's get into it. Louder, low, not much, quiet. All right. It's funny on my end. I sound fine. Not much, quiet. All right, whatever. Doesn't matter. Fuck it. We'll go on. All right. So, first question: how long have you been prepping?
I would say my entire life, by proxy of my parents. So grew up here in South Louisiana, Gulf Coast, Louisiana, so hurricane zone. So every year, hurricane season is June to November. Beginning of June, my parents would go out, they'll buy a couple cases of water, a bunch of extra canned food, get some batteries, some candles, simple things, and just store it at the house. If we need it, we need it. We don't, we don't. At the end of the hurricane season, we just use it. Then kind of go to cycle all over again. So I guess by not even realizing it, my parents were preppers. It's just a lifestyle, right? Something that we were born into, something that was a necessity.
Right.
So really from that, and then being in the Boy Scouts, models be prepared. So just kind of always having those extra things, being prepared. My dad was a very particular person, and that kind of rubbed off on me. So taking trips, we prepare all the little things that might happen, right? Have a 12-volt air compressor and a plug kit. An extra gallon of water for the radiator, things like that. So preparing doesn't just mean for big stuff, can mean for small stuff too. And then from there, I guess in 2008, individually, I started prepping just because of that economic collapse we had. And from '08 to 2012, I prepped in the wrong way, I would say. I kind of did it out of anxiety and fear. And a lot of other YouTubers and other things at that time influenced my fear and my anxiety, and just hoarded things I think weren't unnecessary, and put a lot of importance on things that I feel now aren't that necessary. But since then, I've been prepping in what I think is a more critical thinking, logical way for the things that I know can and would happen. We have hurricanes, we have power outages, thunderstorms, forest fires could happen, regular natural disasters.
Well, very good. Um, that was actually a good answer. Because most people give me the short answer. All right. So, guys, how do I? Am I too loud now? All right. Ah, Jesus. How about now? All right, that's better. I'm looking at the voice thing. So hopefully that's a lot better. Now I'm too loud. Good. Still good. All right, whatever. Fuck it. Enough of that. What are you... No, I guess. What are you preparing for, or what were you preparing for?
In the beginning, so that '08 to 2012, I was preparing for what everyone I think considers an SHTF, right? The world's going to end. Get your full EMP bunker under your house, with a full sustainable lifestyle. You can live in that bunker, just absorbing a lot of stuff that didn't make me feel settled. That really made me feel unsettled. So during that time, reading, really, in my opinion, the wrong books. Those that talk about a lot of militarized type stuff, and I've got no military experiences, so a lot of this stuff is foreign to me. That period, I prepped in the wrong manner for stuff that I don't even know if it would even happen. The stuff I prepare for today is the stuff that has happened, and I feel more confident can happen. So hurricanes. We have a camper trailer. Got a little newer setup, a smaller truck camper, slides in the bed of your truck, but before we had a pull behind. So we just prepare for that. Prepare for those power outages, have a small generator. We get extra food and water, gasoline. So if the hurricane shows up, we can deal with it. The next one would be floods. In 2016, where I live, we had some kind of historic flooding. So I was mostly prepared for that. And the things that I found I was deficient in, add those to my preps, just making sure I have certain things in my vehicle, because I'm in a volunteer fire department where I live, and during that time, all the flooding around my house, I couldn't get to my house, so I was stuck at the firehouse all weekend, and I found I was kind of short a few things, didn't have but one change of clothes with me, didn't have much food with me, but luckily, firehouse, firefighters, it's like a brotherhood, and we had a lot of people to pitch in for those who didn't have, but I make sure I have extra with me. When we take big trips across country, I make sure we have some bedding, some food, just in case we're caught in traffic on the interstate, or let's just say we couldn't make it to our predetermined destination, and I've got to stay somewhere else. I have cash, so in case I could pay cash in a small town that might not take credit cards, or if we just have to camp in our vehicle, I got some bedding. We can at least be semi-comfortable. So those types of things is what I like to prepare for most. The bigger things, I do prepare for economic issues, and I think that's what everyone considers that big SHTF, right? We just have a complete breakdown of society, of our economy. Being in the financial industry with the business that I own, I'm constantly preparing for those financial type decisions, those stock market downturns, but it's really not necessarily preparing, but just more of a way of life of how I invest and manage my money and live my life. So most of everything I prepare for, I think, is just real world situations. I had a video that came out Monday. I talked about cybersecurity, and I mentioned some mission darkness bags, and those are made for kind of like EMP type situations. They do block your data for your electronic devices, which I like, but also just lightning strikes. I mean, if you ever had a house struck by lightning, How do you prepare for that? Our cell phones and our electronic devices, our computers, that's our life. We have so much that's digital now. I keep those electronic items in those mission darkness bags to protect them from a lightning strike. Many people I've met before had a lightning strike their house. They say months later they'll find random stuff that wasn't even plugged in. Oh, this electronic, my toaster don't work, or this don't work, and it wasn't even plugged in. Well, that electricity is just in the air. So I like to prepare for more real world type stuff. I don't think about, I do think about those major things, but the next part of my preparedness would be, instead of preparing to be set up for a full economic collapse, I spend my time, my energy, and my money to help prevent that type of stuff. And I guess that's maybe one of the big things I have about most preppers, especially your more famous preppers you'd see on YouTube or other outlets, is they're teaching people how to be prepared for when everything collapses. I don't want it to collapse. I don't want to live in that collapse world. And to me, I don't ever want that to happen. I'm just now starting a family with my wife. I don't want to raise kids in nuclear war or full economic collapse. So I prepare by doing what I can, by educating others and spending my time and energy to make sure that doesn't happen. I stay up to date on political issues and vote accordingly, not by emotions, because I get aggravated by what political person puts on Twitter. Take that crap away from these political people who don't need to hear what's on Twitter. What are their policies? I prepare by being educated and voting for that political person, whether it be a governor, a senator, or a president, that is going to have the best interest for long term, so that I don't have to hoard food and water and have that bunker, that we can actually live in a good society that's going to be sustainable. So that'd probably be my most major part. I prepare to make sure things can be good long term, because I don't want to be reactive. I want to be proactive. If I can do anything that prevents anything bad from happening, I'm damn sure going to do it. I just don't want to prepare and say, oh, well, this stuff can go bad, so I'm going to make sure I have this stuff to be prepared after it goes bad. I want to keep it from happening and going bad. So I prepare to circumvent it, to prevent it.
Oh, very good, man. So, you have to let me know. You mentioned your business.
Yes.
Tell us a little more about your business.
All right. So my business is called Outfitter Wealth. And so admittedly, I started YouTube to try to help drum up more business. Most of my marketing was done face-to-face. I'd go to Rotary Club meetings, Chamber of Commerce, do a lot of in-person stuff. We do like a lunch and learn with a business. I'd go in and buy them lunch and kind of tell them what I do. Everything turned virtual with COVID. So right. I enjoyed that because it makes my business more efficient. But now I got to use these virtual outlets to let people know what I do. And I chose YouTube as one of them. So I'm in the financial industry, financial and insurance industry. I started with a couple bigger companies, and I did not like the ethics and morals behind these big companies. They exist to make themselves money and to make those advisors money. I did not like it. So now I'm an independent, and there's a big network. I'm a part of a big network of independent financial and insurance professionals, because no big industry is going to do what I do, because when you spend a dollar, that dollar has to be evenly divided. When you spend money with one of your bigger name brand financial institutions, you keep 40 to 60% of your dollar. When you do something like what my business does, you keep about 90 cents of your dollar, so 90% of your dollar. Most people might ask, well, why would you choose a profession that pays you less than when the other ones do? Because my moral and my ethics I want to help people. My business is my ministry. It's how I want to help people. Money is where everything revolves around. Politics, especially, follow the money. The money is where you can find answers. And if we as a people had or understood how we can have more control of our money rather than giving it to bigger institutions, regardless of voting, you would take that power away from all big businesses and even the government, especially in the form of taxes. So my business helps people have more of their assets liquid, more of it tax-free, and you get to pay less tax, not just now, but in retirement. And so my YouTube channel is going to eventually become more of an education piece. I've kind of been slowly getting into it, mostly because a lot of these videos will sound like a pitch to come do business with my business, and they will, but I hope people can at least maybe look past that and decide, well, if I want to choose me and my business, Outfitter Wealth, that's fine, but if not, at least learn these concepts and take them to the person that you feel comfortable with and implement them. It's really about having that financial independence and that financial security. A lot of my clients right now, they're living fine with this COVID crap, regardless if they were out of work or not, because we teach people how to take control of your money to what works for you. You know where it's at. You have, so many people have these retirement accounts, 401k accounts, IRAs. I've worked with people, and I've talked about this in previous videos. There's so much wealth in these retirement accounts that they can't touch until they're a certain age or without significant penalties. And why is that? They have no savings. Statistically, most Americans don't have enough savings to have, I think, 3 months of bills. But then they may have $1 million in a 401k account or a retirement account that they can't touch or won't touch. They're afraid to touch it. But that's your money. Why should your money ever be locked up to where you can't make use of it no matter what happens in the economy or in society? Now, I feel this whole scamdemic stuff is a scam, and it's been purposefully pushed the way we see it. But look how negatively it's affected people financially. I think that's part of the plan. You affect anyone's money, you can take control over them. So that's what my business does. We try to help let you have that control rather than give that control to other people. Now, I will say this. Most people will go to one of your big name brand financial institutions, and I've talked with people at the gym and other places. They ask what I do. I tell them, oh, well, I got a great guy over at XYZ company. That stuff confuses me. I just tell him to do what it is. Take a little more responsibility into your financial position. Angryprepper, that's a big dude. Now, I'm 6'4", 250, and I'm nowhere near as muscular as he is. But neither one of us can pick up a book about doing bicep curls and push-ups and bench press and just look at it and say, okay, well, I'm going to get big because I know how to do a bench press or a bicep curl. No, you got to actually put in the work. So if you want that physical fitness, to get that financial fitness, you got to have a little more invested in it. You got to spend more time. You can't just keep giving it to these other people. You can't show up to a gym and hire a trainer and say, I'm going to give you my money. Why don't you go bust up 100 push-ups for me, and then my chest is going to look great. No, it don't work that way. You need to do more work. You have more input and energy into and more responsibility to your financial situation. I guarantee you will be better off than what we are right now as the majority of society. Sorry, I went on a big rant there.
No. Listen, that's what I like. I like when people can just talk, and then you make sense, and you're talking about something. You're not rambling about just, any random stuff. So let me get this out of the way. Jack, Tommy, and Lewis, thank you for the donation. Was it Luis? I don't know. But anyway, thank you for the donation either way. Guys, any of the questions you have to ask, can you ask them a little later? I know some of you are asking about the vaccines and lockdowns and stuff like that. This is actually not the live stream for those questions unless you're asking it to our guests. But nonetheless, ask them a little later, probably around the 45-minute mark. You can start throwing your questions at the screen, whatever you want to do. Okay, so and also the questions are for the guest, not for me. So please keep him in mind. Right, ask him exactly. Ask him anything. So, I asked you this question earlier. You're on the road, right?
Yep.
What do you make of the food shortage or supply shortage? Have you seen anything on your end?
So I'm going to talk about a lot more than just that. And I've been thinking about it on our trip. So my wife and I went from Louisiana to the West Coast where she's from. We're spending the holidays with her family. We took about 4 days to get here. what I noticed is that different states take this more seriously than others. Now, in Louisiana, we have a mask law. I don't wear it. I go into shops, I don't wear it. Uh, Nobody gives us crap. Matter of fact, where I'm at in Louisiana, most people don't even wear it. Now, when we hit Texas, Texas was fine. We can go into gas stations, different truck stops. That's mostly what we went. Even into the hotels, we checked in at night. Nobody was complaining about a mask. Even at the truck stops, it seemed to have plenty of stuff on the shelves, plenty of all the soda, coffee, junk food, and snacks you want. And lots of people traveling too. So just a lot of people at those truck stops. New Mexico is a little bit different. They seem to be a little more strict about it. We were mentioned something about having a mask and just kind of told, hey, next time you come in, we appreciate if you wear a mask. So a little more cordial about it, but something was mentioned. And that was at a truck stop. Everything was fine once we got to the West Coast where we're at. We're in a little more rural area, a lot of farmers, farmland, definitely more conservative part of the West Coast. Everything seems to be fine. As far as food, I didn't see anything I would consider a food shortage, even back home before we left. I will say out where we're at, 3/4 of the toilet paper was gone. I don't get that. I don't think this virus makes you poop yourself constantly, so I don't get the toilet paper hoarding. Other than that, everything else was on the shelves. Other than at the local Walmart, car wash and camping stuff was 3/4 of the way empty. So I guess people are really keeping their rides clean and going out and having fun in the woods. Otherwise, everything was on the shelves. Going into part stores like auto parts stores, your seed and feeds, kind of agricultural stores, or your home improvement stores, no issue with not having to wear a mask, even though it's mandated in the state we're in. Going to your big box stores, I kind of just wear it. I don't want to deal with it with the questions. I don't want to turn into the angry prepper. You know, I'm a nice guy until you make me unnice, so I don't want to be angry because, you know, I don't think this mask thing. I think it's psychological rather than truly medical or scientific that we need to wear these things. But I don't see anything. I don't see anything alarming. Of course, I was traveling the main corridor of interstate to where I went to where I'm at. So maybe they keep those areas more supplied than others. I think other people might have other things to say, and I've seen other YouTubers who've showed empty shelves at their local stores. I just don't see it. Not that it can't happen or isn't happening. Just where I've been exposed to it so far has been a non-issue.
Oh, very good. Alaskan Ballistics, thank you for the donation. Guys, Alaskan Ballistics, is a YouTube channel. For those of you that might not know, his channel is, again, he's another channel that's pretty good. He talks about firearms. So I have to watch his channel to learn a lot about firearms. I mean, listen, there's a million channels I could watch. But because I ran into him the other day on a live stream we did during election night, he's a good channel to visit, especially for firearms. The guy looks like he's shooting everything under the sun, which is pretty good. Okay, so just reading some of the comments here.
Yeah, I'm kind of scrolling through myself.
Oh, that was someone asked. Someone asked a question about cryptocurrency. Now, I don't like cryptocurrency. Not a big fan of it. But I'm curious, since you're in the financial, world or field, what is your opinion on cryptocurrency?
I love the idea of it because it came from a guy who decided not having a gold-backed currency was complete bullshit and unsustainable. And I completely agree with the mindset behind creating it. Now, investing in it, keep it minimal. It's not a real currency. It's very niche and unique. I have 4 different cryptocurrencies in very small amounts, and I'll do a video coming up soon. Now, I do have a Coinbase account where my cryptocurrency is held, and recently I got an email to where they're introducing a Visa card, credit card, to where you can spend your cryptocurrency at any store just like a Visa, just like a credit card. That is pretty cool. Now I like that. But it's not, it will never be that mainstream. Because that, to me, cryptocurrency is more of a way to make transactions that aren't traced or tracked. Once you got that Visa card that's still tracked to your cryptocurrency, you're leaving an electronic paper trail of what you're doing. So then you kind of lose that unique ability of being able to have private transactions. United States is trying to do they got a USD coin. It's a United States dollar cryptocurrency. I guess they just need to throw their hat in the ring to try to have something, but I don't ever see it taking off because it's worth no more than what an actual dollar is. Whereas crypto currencies, and I don't even log into my account. It's more one of those invest and just kind of look at it every now and then just to kind of gauge how that's moving. I do Ethereum, Bitcoin Lite, and then I have a basic attention token, which is also tied to the Brave browser. I did a recent video about the Brave browser. They kind of have their own cryptocurrency tied to a Chrome-based web browser, but it's a very unique thing. I personally don't see it as something that's going to take over and replace any fiat currency or paper currency or receipt type currency. But I see it sticking around for unique transactions. I put it to you this way. I went to my local gun store and kind of know the owners, shooting the bull with them. Hey, man, wanted to buy a gun. Tell you what, I'll give you some cryptocurrency. No, I'm not interested in that. Cool. How about some gold and some silver? Yeah, I'll take that. But they wanted a little more than what the cash value was worth. Hey, man, I got a couple $100 bills. What do you want for this gun? How about I give you cash? I got the best deal paying cash. So cash is still pretty much king. It's right in your wallet. It's right in your hand. I can give it to someone immediately and it's done. Whereas gold and silver, if I give you that gold and silver, you got to pay for it. You got to sell it somewhere, or maybe you want to store it and hoard it yourself. You put it in your stores. Or that cryptocurrency. If I use that Visa card at the gun store and it's backed and it's tied to my cryptocurrency account, well, they're just receiving it like it's regular money. You're going to pay a fee now, because there is a fee, I believe, with Coinbase to use that. So then you're paying a little bit extra. I guess the only benefit or positive thing to it is if you bought cryptocurrency at a certain level and it gained some, just like anything in the stock market, right? It gains a value, and your transaction plus the fees still is less than your total net investment, it would be positive. But the way cryptocurrency kind of goes up and down, I don't like fluctuating values on my currency, and it's not something that I would ever use as mainstream. But I have it just because I think it's unique. I want to be a part of it, and I want to study it as it goes and just kind of see what it does.
You know what? I took part in the cryptocurrency years ago, and I see the allure with it. I'm always one of those guys that talk shit about it because I'm like, it's money that's made out of nothing, right? A guy decided that he was going to say, you know what? I'm going to make this online, I don't know, money, and then we're going to give it this value because I said so. And then whatever it did after that, it multiplied, it gained money, and then it went and took off. But I still have a Coinbase account too. I don't think I have much in it. I was thinking about diving back into it, but then again, that'd be I guess a hypocrite of me because I'm not a big fan of it. But just in case it blows up, I would buy into it. But my buddies, they buy into it all the time, or at least he puts money towards it. Not that he puts money towards cryptocurrency. He buys like a part of a coin or whatever it is, and he does this like each paycheck. Listen, at some point he's got to hit it on the head and make some money out of it. But he's also lost a ton of money as well. Like you said, it's so volatile. It's up and down. So it's everywhere, guys. So do me a favor. For the 600 people that are on, if you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button. Also, head over to Financial Preppers page and like and subscribe to it. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are liking what you're hearing, especially with the financial portion of it. So we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about what do you think will come. And now I know what your stance is on COVID, but what do you think will come from the second shutdown?
It can ruin the economy. We're just not sustainable. I think it's part of a new world order or say a leftist or liberal or Democrat agenda. There's some agenda here. Whatever title you put to it, nothing happens at random. Everything is planned. Everything's for a reason. So I think the agenda is to ruin small businesses because I can't go to Billy Bob's Burgers because it's unsafe, but I damn sure can go to McDonald's and get that chemically induced piece of trash to feed my family, right? There's something wrong here. Use your critical thinking. I'm not saying viruses don't exist and people don't get sick and those with underlying medical conditions can't die. I'm in the life insurance industry as well, so I'm a field underwriter. I know people's medical conditions. If you got high blood pressure and all this other stuff, any simple illness affects you greater than a person who's a lot healthier than you. But if we go into a second lockdown, it would be planned, and it's just be the final nail in a coffin of what they tried to start. I've read some things with Saul Alinsky and the socialist, communist type of agenda. That I'm surprised and amazed and impressed by how quickly that whoever's behind this was able to implement this in such a short amount of time. And I'm also very saddened by how many people fell prey to this so easily. So if we go into a second lockdown, I feel we got one of two choices. We either follow it and we ruin ourselves, and then we could have that full economic collapse. Now, America, the United States dollar is the world currency. All these other smaller countries like Venezuela and all the others that have had financial collapses in the past, their backup currency was our dollar. So if our dollar collapses, the whole world's in a world of hurt. We don't want that. We want to fight to keep our economy going. The best option I think we have is to just ignore these lockdowns. Go to these businesses, to business owners. There was one in Louisiana that won a lawsuit that started around April-ish and finally got over around October-ish, where a barbecue place refused to shut down, and our governor issued citation and orders to shut down and don't do this and you got to wear a mask. And they said, no, our Constitution protects my rights. I'm not doing it. And as a result, they actually saw an increase in business because people spoke with their actions and with their dollar. Remember, I'm a financial prepper, right? It's kind of a term I've coined myself and gave myself. Your dollar is the biggest power you can have. That's the power that big institutions and governments have over you. That's the power that you have over them. The way you spend that dollar will show them what the majority of the people mean. Regardless of voter fraud, you can't fraudulently spend a dollar. If you go to that burger joint because you like Billy Bob's Burgers and you want his burger and he's refusing to accept these lockdowns and he's going to open up anyway, support that business. But more small businesses need to have the balls to understand the Constitution and open their businesses and stay open. A city or a state can't fight millions or say hundreds or thousands of lawsuits from all the small businesses at one time. Eventually, these governments need to realize they work for us and not the other damn way around. We need to represent and show them we're not going to take their lockdowns. So I'm hoping, and that's kind of goes back to my, let's do something before the problem exists to circumvent the problem. You don't want this economy to go to shit in the next lockdown? Then don't abide by the rules of the lockdown. Everything has a democratic process. Now, some people might freak out if they get served some lawsuit papers. Now, I'm one, I don't ever want to be sued. I've never been sued before. I don't want to be sued. That kind of would maybe cause me a little bit of anxiety. But everything is a process. We have laws written that you have to follow. Somebody sues you, it may take months to years before anything is settled. So until something's settled, usually you can continue going by whatever you're doing that you're being sued for until the courts say you should not be doing that. Open your businesses. Keep them open. Guys, shop local. Recently here where I'm at in the West Coast, we had to buy a horse mat, a horse stall mat. It's kind of 3/4 inch thick rubber mat. And we had a local big box store that was my first choice. And I'm going to go to the big box store, but they're out. They can't keep them in stock. Then we thought about the local guy that has them. I spent about $15 more for this mat, but you know what? That $15 is more served to that local business owner than it will that chain, because that chain can suffer a loss in one city because he's got thousands of other cities of successful businesses that can keep that other one afloat. Spend your money. So local business owners, ignore it. Open up. Quit giving people shit about these masks. My local UPS store where I have a mailbox at, in Louisiana, when we went on lockdown in the beginning of March, or when I say lockdown, when he instituted whatever the bullshit restrictions were, this guy did not force people or require people to wear a mask, because I think he was just thankful to be considered one of those essential businesses that can still be open.
Right.
But when they came around and all businesses could be open, but yet mask restrictions, this guy started being a real dick to people about wearing a mask, and we kind of got into it. And I'm nice till you're not nice to me. I'm not gonna stand for this crap. Well, what about the first 3 months? This mask didn't matter. Was I not carrying this so-called virus these first 3 months? But now that the governor of our state says everyone can be open, but you have to wear a mask, now I'm carrying the virus. Use some common sense here. Business owners, quit giving people shit about these masks. Post your stupid sign like your state requires and leave it be. Let people come in and do commerce. You want to have a successful business? Do you want to feed your family? Do you want to pay your bills? Do business. Let people come in and do business. To those who believe in wearing the masks, wear them if you believe in it. But quit giving people a bunch of crap for not wearing it. I've never been told anything by a regular person. Somebody told my wife one time at a Walmart about she'd be needing to wear her damn mask, and she ignored her, like you should. I mean, don't be confrontational. That's not something I would even get in an argument with someone about in public. But just live and let live. Live and let be. But be common sense about this.
No, I mean,
fraudulent. These numbers are false. Your dollar means everything. Do you want to have a job? Do you want to pay your bills? Do you want to pay your mortgage? Do you want to eat? Everything depends on an economy moving. Now, as a successful economy needs certain businesses to fail because they didn't produce value to the populace. So businesses will come and go, but this is different. This is forcing everyone to do something, it's forcing all small businesses to suffer, whereas all big businesses are allowed to thrive. Well, they're big businesses. Your big box stores, I believe, are part and have ties to whoever's pushing this agenda. So for this next lockdown, go one of two ways. That's up to you. That's not up to the government. If it's up to the government, it's because the people let the government have that power. Stop letting the government have that power. It is too damn easy. Stand up for yourself. Do what you know is right. I've talked to too many people who have the same strong opinion as me, but do the opposite in public because they're afraid of backlash. Who are you afraid of backlash from? If everybody's going to Walmart scared and complying because they're scared, we got a bunch of sheep. Stop. Think for yourself. But respect people as well. Respect that different opinion of that other person. But just know your actions have long-term effects. We go through another lockdown, no matter what city you're in. Some are lax than others. Some states are more lax than others. If you don't want your state to go down the tubes, take action. Take proactive action, not reactive action.
All right. Well, no. Thank you for that point. And so some people in the comment section I've been reading, some people like, we debating about masks. No, we are not debating about masks. He is sharing his opinion on whether or not he agrees with the mask. Now, me personally, I'm the same way. I'm not a big fan of the mask. I do think, though, when we go into somebody's store, if they want you to wear a mask, wear it. But it should be individually decided and not a mandate and being forced or yelled at in the store. It happened to me the other day at Fairway. I got yelled at, some lady yelling from across the supermarket. Like, she didn't even, like, come up to me and, like, she could have came up to me like, hey, do me a favor, put your mask on. I'm like, okay, and I had to put it on. I said, but yelling at me from across the store, and then I sort of motherfucked her, and then she didn't like it. So she was trying to play a little shitty game at the end. But, Cecil, sorry for your loss, man. I read the comment earlier. Sorry for your loss. But again, guys, with the mask, it's either, it should be up to the individual choice. Like he said, if the store owner who's running the business wants you to wear the mask, fuck it, I'll wear it. But I don't need a governor or president telling me that they're going to mandate us wearing a mask, and if we don't, we're going to get fined or arrested. That's BS. These people work for us, not the other way around. I know that the public health is a major concern, and their ruling takes over. But I think this virus isn't that virus. The mortality rate is too low. It's not a 30% mortality rate, because then if it was, it'd be a different ballgame right now. It wouldn't be what we're sitting in now. But again, the mask should be an individual choice, because if you're wearing a mask and I'm not wearing a mask, you're more protected. Not that you're 100% protected. You're more protected than I am. It should be up to my rights whether I want to wear the mask or not. Like wearing a seatbelt. I mean, listen, I wear not that I don't wear it a lot. No, I don't. I don't wear it at all, actually. Every now and again, if I get tired or sleepy, I'll put the seatbelt on. But that should be a personal choice. That shouldn't be a mandated government thing where now you're getting fines, and sometimes your license is suspended if you have enough fines because you're not wearing a seatbelt. I'm like, that's where they're drawing a line. But drunk driver, whatever. That's just it should just be an individual. A lot of things should be individual, but I don't understand why we let, like you said, the government get the power to make these rules. Certain states you can ride a motorcycle without a helmet. I love those states, right? But in other states, you have to have a helmet on. But they're dictating to us how we're supposed to,
It's different if they force you to do something and you have to do it as opposed to you want to do it. Now, I have rode motorcycles many years, and I got a few opinions I want to clarify here. I rode many motorcycles for many years. I've ridden in states without it. Man, I feel very unsafe without a helmet. So all the states I've traveled through, regardless if they had a law that stated you should wear it or not, I wore my helmet. Now, we shouldn't have a law that states you have to do something. Common sense ought to tell you, if you're comfortable doing it, then doing it. So to go back to the masks thing, my critical thinking skills, which is another form of saying common sense, if masks work, open everything up as normal and make the mask mandatory. I'll wear one gladly. But something seems agenda-driven when only certain things can be open when the exposure is the same as those others that are forced to be enclosed.
Right.
Now, as far as free rights of a business, I agree every business should have their free right to demand, or I say demand, require what they want for you to do business with them. If they say you got to wear clown shoes and a top hat to come into my store and you don't want to, and they say you can't come into my store without clown shoes and a top hat, screw it, I'll go buy whatever I want at the other store. I think businesses should have their own freedom. I think that's constitutionally protected for them to require what they want in their business, as long as it doesn't infringe on your rights. Requiring a mask doesn't necessarily infringe on your rights. I think it's just an ideological, political driven thing at this point, that you see the other major effects of what's being trying to push that's tied to that. So I don't want to disrespect a business owner who wants me to wear a mask and I don't. I really don't mean any disrespect to that person whatsoever. I just feel this is bigger than just what you think I should have on when I come into your store at this point.
Exactly. That's pretty much what I was thinking. Alaskan Ballistic, again, thank you. Chad and Multi, thank you for the donation, guys. Broken Arrow, the slow mode I made a little faster today, but apparently I guess people don't like it. So I'm gonna reduce it next one to 20 seconds and see if you guys like that. Other than that, I do it so that I can catch some of these, chats. So, all right. Well, guys, sorry. So Marbury is also telling you no cursing for one reason. YouTube is on their own cutting comments out. So if you want your comment to be read, that's why you're not cursing. It's not a disrespect thing. It's just that YouTube is being a bunch of pricks right now, and they're going ahead and in the chat room they're deleting comments. So, just keep that in mind. That's all it is, guys. It's not about you guys cursing. It's about YouTube being assholes about it. If you want it read, if you don't want it read, curse away. I mean, we can unblock it, but YouTube is just they're being real pricks right now, and I don't know what's up their ass. Okay, so since you travel, do you have a bug out bag, and do you consider your vehicle a bug out vehicle?
All right, I love this question. So here's what I hate about the prepper community. Bug out is a militarized buzzword that's overused. Out of all the years I've lived in South Louisiana, not once has a governor given a mandatory bug out, but they have given a mandatory evacuation. So there's a difference there, and I think that's what causes some people to not want to be preppers. The TV shows that showcase preppers or other people how they carry themselves and call themselves preppers, I think turn other people off from wanting to really what it is take responsibility for something that they know could quite happen. So do I have a bug out vehicle? No. Do I have a vehicle that I use in case we got evacuated? Yeah. I got a 1-ton 4-wheel drive pickup. My wife and I have a sliding camper on it. It's perfect for her and I and our 2 dogs. We can carry just enough stuff to leave for a hurricane. Do I have a bug out bag? No, I don't. But I have a special bag that has some bedding and some freeze-dried food. So I'm a Boy Scout, been backpacking, so I've been staying in a mountain house for years. I got some special food that if I know we're going to take a trip or we got to leave, that goes in the truck and we get out. I also have a backpack for backpacking. It is set up minus food because I don't keep food in it, but it has the stove, the solar panel, and extra socks and long underwear and all the other gear, hatchet and the little cable saws for at least a 3 to 5 night overnight backpacking trip. So I have that could go with me as well. Plus we just got that cool little camper that's usually always packed with our stuff. Now we went from a big travel trailer to a little sliding camper, but it's always been packed with extra food, extra clothes, and all the things you need to go camping with, which is you've been camping in a travel trailer or a camper trailer, you have all your knives and your forks and your cutting board. So if we quote unquote bug out, which is just an evacuation, yeah, I have everything I need in multiple different instances, depending on what we're leaving for, or evacuating for.
No, yeah, no, it's funny. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate the answer, and because some people are like it's a bag that you have. It's a bug out bag, but like I
Yeah.
said, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the terms that come from that are in prepper world are military esque. You know, the
Right.
acronyms, right? And you know, listen, me personally, it is what it is. I try to. You know, you got what is it called? Get out of Dodge bags, right? You got an inch bag, right?
Right.
Uh,
Never come home. Or
right. There's
just
so
not
many.
coming.
Right. There's so many different how you say ways you can call a bag. So like whatever it is, I just stick the bug out bag because it's so much easier. I can't like I forget to call it a good bag or an inch, right?
Mhm.
But if you had to ditch your trailer, could you, and for how long could you last?
Oh man, with a camper, I could last forever.
Well, I'm saying if you had to ditch that camper.
If I had to ditch the camper, so if we had to ditch the camper, I've usually got some simple bedding and some freeze dried foods with us. So as long as the bedding lasts, I can sleep in the bed of my truck for, I guess, as long as I'm still living. I don't imagine these situations like most people think. I'm not traveling the country like the movie The Book of Eli or The Road. I don't even want to be alive during times like that. So I don't ever think of preparing for that destitute of a society. So out of the numerous times I've had to evacuate for a hurricane in the numerous different areas I've had to go, north, east, west, whether we went all the way to Tennessee, whether we went 15 hours away or 5 hours away, we've always found something to make having evacuated comfortable. We've always found some sort of hotel, whether it be a nice one or a shithole. We still had a bed. We still had a toilet. We still had places to buy food, whether it be a nicer restaurant or your corner gas station where we're eating Hot Pockets and ramen noodles. We still survived. We still lived. And I feel any of these situations are going to be temporary. Most preppers might think that SHTF is that permanent, everything collapses. Man, I do everything I can to make sure that don't happen. Of course, I can't single-handedly make it not happen alone, but out of all the different evacuations and things we've had to leave for, I've never been without at least the minimum. Whether I took it with me, I found it where I was going, or I met someone of goodwill who helped me with it. I
Right.
still believe in the positive goodwill of people. I really do. There are still good people out there, and there are still a lot of good people out there who don't act in their goodwill, even though they're good people. So all those who are good, start doing more for your fellow man. Even if they're shitty to you, just be nice to them.
You're right. All right, so let me make a quick announcement. Pinball preparedness, prepper now. Prepping outside the box, NY Prepper, North Shore preparedness. And Be Ready Today, who's probably not on. Guys, these are channels that you should head over to if you're looking for other prepper channels to, watch. Prepper 101, he's on here as well. If I'm not mistaken, he has a channel too. Head over to his channel. I glanced around at his channel real quick. I haven't really got to watch anything. But, Prepper Nation as well, guys. He's not on here tonight, but that's another channel you should visit. Again, these are all squared away channels. For you channels that I mentioned, guys, put your link in the chat description, please, so guys could, easily click onto your page. And also, of course, Financial Prepper. Head over to his page as well, or his channel, sorry, like and subscribe. Alaska Prepper, thank you. I forgot about him. Who's it? TJ Preps. Head over to her channel. Me Being Cheap. Head over to her channel as well. And Autumn's Backyard Garden. These channels are really good. I actually like Financial Prepper a little more now because he's honest and he doesn't waver in the bullshit. So if he thinks opposite of somebody else, he's gonna let you know. So I think that's really good, and it's important because it means people like him don't follow the trend, if you will. All right, so we are closing in on an hour. Let's get the. Oh wait, I have to ask this question.
Keep going. Let's go.
No, I have to ask this question. I missed it with Prepper Nurse 1 because we were actually having a good time and a good conversation. But this question I have to ask you. So you are trekking along in your camper, right, in your truck, and you see an obvious prepper stash on the side of the road. For whatever reasons, on the side of the road. Do you take it? Do you leave it?
Man, I've watched all your live stream interviews of people, and I keep thinking about that question, and that's so circumstantial because if I'm hurting, but I know a little bit further I can get what I need, I'm going to leave somebody else's stuff along. And again, I think more towards what might actually happen and not what happens in the movie Book of Eli or The Road, right? So if I go say destitute, I'm completely destitute, we're in a world collapse type situation, heck yeah, I'm taking somebody's stuff. But in most situations, if I'm just traveling along, if I have family that needs something, I might take the minimum we need just to survive and sustain, and maybe leave something of whatever value I might have that they might not have. Let's just say I happen upon a stash and they don't have good fire starting tools, but they got food. I'm starving, but I got numerous ways to start a fire. Well, I'm a trade, and my conscience is going to tell me I took a little bit of what they had a lot of, but I gave them something they didn't have any of. So I feel that'd be a good trade. Otherwise, if I'm passing through and I know I can go a little bit further and get what I need and know it's there, I'm going to leave their stuff alone.
Very good. Also, okay, thank you for that. I also forgot to mention Prepper Princess, Canadian Prepper, and the Kid Happy Prepper. So head over to their channels as well.
Happy Prepper was awesome.
Who?
Happy Prepper, I enjoyed that one a lot. That was cool.
Yeah, he's down to earth. You know, I like. Listen, I got lucky again, and I'm pretty sure at some point my luck's gonna run out, and I'm gonna run into an asshole that I'm gonna interview. But for the most part, everyone that I interview, I do talk to for a little while before I put them on, just in case they're a raging dick. And I've been lucky, so that's pretty good. So I do appreciate you guys for not being dicks and being honest, and not using, this as a segue to just promote, because you guys have a lot to share, which is great. So I do appreciate it. Southern Prepper 1. I would love to have Southern Prepper 1 on here. But that guy's hard to get. He's just a busy dude. He's always doing something on his land, squaring something away. So that's a hard one to get. So, guys, as of right now, if you're going to start asking questions, ask questions in all caps so that I can see it and my moderators can see it. Jesus Christ. There's somebody called the Main Prepper. Oh. Melly Mel. He answered that question probably a half hour ago. They were asking you about your opinion on cryptocurrency. So.
Yeah, and I'm going to do a good video on cryptocurrencies in the future. A lot of financial questions I might even get tonight, or some topics I kind of touched on small. I want to do a dedicated video to kind of be more descriptive and detailed on that in the future.
Roger that. Monica, thank you for the donation. Let's see. Someone did ask a good question. Heather Adirondacks asks, what is your worst fear of happening this winter into spring?
I try not to fear anything. I'm a very devout Catholic Christian, so I try to put my trust in God and not have fear or anxiety. Really, we don't know what can happen. So what is my biggest fear? That people don't stand up for what they feel is not right. And like I kind of ran it on earlier, the worst that can happen will be whatever you don't try to prevent from happening. There's been a quote in the past, and I forgot who said it, evil prevails when good men fail to do something, or it's something like that. I'm kind of paraphrasing and maybe screwing up that quote a little bit, but my fear would be anything negative that could have been circumvented if more people stood up and tried to do something to prevent it happening. And I don't have a crystal ball, and I hate speculation. That's the biggest thing most financial advisors do, is speculate with your damn money. I don't speculate nothing. I can't speculate with your money, and I don't even speculate with what could, should, might happen. I don't know. All I know is my only fear, I guess, would be the thing I would not want to see happen is anything negative that could have been prevented if people would at least take an action because they were too afraid to take action. So I'm afraid of people who are afraid. How about that? If you're too afraid to take action and stand up and do something positive that can help circumvent something, I'm afraid of you. Stand up, do something.
Nice. Very good. All right, so no one asked this question yet. This is actually from me because someone sort of brought up a close point to it. What is your opinion on the vaccines?
I've never taken the flu shot ever. I've looked into what's in it. I don't know that I want to inject myself with formaldehyde and cells from aborted babies, amongst the other things that are there. I don't feel it's natural. I won't take it. Being self-employed, I'm in a unique position to where I'm not going to fire myself because I don't take it. I make my own employee policies, right? But
Right.
I do kind of, let's go back to that fear. I do say worry. I won't use fear, but I do worry. Can I not go to a big box store because I don't have a vaccine certificate with me? If that's the case, well, guess what? I'm supporting my local mom and pops. But then I also wonder what kind of government bureaucratic bullshit are they going to pass to keep mom and pops from being able to buy supplies they might need because they don't have their vaccine certificates? Or can some kind of laws be passed to make your local Piggly Wiggly or local Billy Bob's grocery store force you to provide a vaccine certificate to just get groceries? So I'm not taking it. I've never taken anything. I don't believe in it. I try to stay healthy. I got a good video I'm gonna do in the future called "How Your Health Affects Your Wealth." Just stay healthy. I've done pretty good my whole life, just trying to be healthy. Had the flu a couple times, but I've known more people who've gotten the flu at places I've worked because they show up with the big bus and say, "Hey, we're giving free flu vaccines," and most of those guys get it, and I don't. Just not taking it. I'm not taking any type of vaccine. And like you have said, Jason, in the past, and other people have said, how do you qualify a vaccine that's had 9 months or less to be manufactured? Unless they knew this virus was going to be sent out into the public and already developed the vaccine that perfectly works for this. So there's only two ways it happens, right? Either the current vaccine is bullshit because it was developed too quickly, or it was pre-made when the virus was pre-made. And so they already had it developed to help people because they knew they were going to release this virus. So take whatever circumstance you want. I ain't taking it.
No, I agree with you, and you're right. You know what's funny? So they have these polls, and CNN did a poll. At least someone told, one of my subscribers told me. One of them told me that CNN did a poll, and they asked how many people were going to take the vaccine, and they wind up having 99% of their people, their viewers, I guess, say they would take the vaccine. When I asked the same question on my channel through the polls, it was like 95% said no, and 5% said yes. And I guess it shows, depending on your crowd, is the answer you're going to get. The problem is CNN then turns around and goes, oh, well, 99% of America wants to take this vaccine based on their little bullshit poll. Because CNN has a certain group of people that watches them.
Let me get on a rant here. I kind of read a comment. The guy said, this man does not speak for the working man. I came from the blue-collar industry. I grew up. I'm the first male in my family to have a college degree. And so I'm not mad at this guy's comment. He brings up a great point. In one of my videos, I talked about coming from working at a chemical plant where we were a union. So we paid money every week to be part of a brotherhood, right? We paid money to have a stronghold on our opinion. But yet that was the biggest group of pussies I ever belonged to. Every single one of them laid down when we almost went on a strike because, well, I don't want to go on strike. So you're willing to take less benefits, less money, than to exercise your right to strike? We pay to have a unified opinion. But I agree with the guy that just made the comment that I don't speak for the working man. I'm assuming that he means the most working men will probably take this vaccine because a man's biggest thing he has to do is provide for his family. That's a God-given responsibility to a man. You provide. If your employer says you take it or you don't make money, I agree a majority of the working populace will take this vaccine. But if, and just stay with me here, right? If majority of the people decided we are not going to do it, the economy would shut down. Temporarily, right? If you just said, we're not doing it. If we just went on a strike, right? Unions go on strike, but you can strike by saying, I'm not even going to go to work. So even if you don't have a union organized at your place of employment, and the majority of you get together and say, we're not going into work. If the majority of Amazon employees, I love Amazon, or all kinds of crap from that place, decide, if they say, well, you got to have a vaccine to come work for us, if the majority of the employees said, we're not doing it, and don't show up, you give it long enough, and that long enough might not be but a few weeks, they're eventually going to back down on that because the big people who are trying to push this, these big business owners, these corporate entities who make all this money, who I feel are pushing this vaccine, they need us so they can be rich. They need the working class, the blue-collar people, so that they can have their wealth. If we stop making their product, and shipping their product, they don't make money. We have the power to make them listen to us. It sucks that a majority of people, I think, will back down from that. But the biggest part is money. And so and here comes a pitch for what I do in my business. It's kind of hard to not have that pitch in there. If I can teach you what I teach people and what I teach my clients to where you can say, I can give a shit less about working for 12 months. I'm sticking to my principles and not showing up to work. If your financial position was that strong you can do that, would you do it? Yes, you would. And that's what I can help you do as far as my business does. But the corporate industry, what we're used to, they push you to where they have control of your dollar, to where, okay, I need to go to work. I got bills to pay. I got a family to feed. And I won't fault a man who makes decisions to take care of his wife and kids because that's love for his wife and kids. So don't think I'm getting on this rant and I'm telling you people you're less than because you would take a vaccine. No, you love your wife and your kids, and you should do what you got to provide for them, please. But the majority can speak louder than the minority, and if we would stick together and just stand up for ourselves to the bully that is an overbearing government, that is big business, we can and will win.
You know, it's funny about the vaccine. So there's some people here that are, obviously they're for the vaccine. Here's a little bit of some information behind the vaccine. There isn't any information, guys. The virus was made, the vaccine was made in less than 9 months. So they say 9 months, was actually less than that. And then the long-term studies, which a lot of vaccines in the past have gone through, there's no long-term studies. So we don't know what this is going to do. So you guys are lining up for a vaccine that they're telling you is safe, but there is no studies, there's no records of it being safe, because you can't make a vaccine in 9 months and tell us it's safe without any accurate studies. That's impossible. That's one. Two, there was a doctor, I read an article, if I can get the article, I'll put it in the description section below. But they were talking about the RNA portion of the vaccine and how the RNA portion of the vaccine, because it's so fragile, can dissipate into the body and or just be inactive. So it won't attach itself to where it needs to attach itself to fight off the coronavirus. That's like the bad thing. But this doctor who was explaining this, she even says at the end of the article, I'm not taking a vaccine. I have to see if it works and where it goes from there. So if the doctor explained to us that it was safe and that it was all of this and the RNA is safe for it to be in our bodies, but in the last sentence she goes, I'm not taking the virus. I'm not taking the vaccine. What does that tell you about the vaccine, guys? All right. It doesn't take rocket science. These doctors are going to lie about the vaccine to get you to take it. So there's something wrong when a doctor who's telling you that it's safe at the end of the article says she's not taking it. Just keep that in mind, and everything Financial Prepper says is right. If we stop being pussies and we stand together, we can actually fight the system. And that's what it comes down to, guys. I mean, listen, they're going to force a lot of people to take the vaccine. And he's right. Some guys are going to bail on it and be like, I'm not taking the vaccine. And then when it comes down to it, they're going to take it. There's a story, not a story, but it's just somebody that I know once removed, right? A doctor, surgeon, works with his hands, when they get the flu vaccine a couple of years ago, probably about 6-7 years ago now. Takes the flu vaccine, never had the flu. Takes the flu vaccine, loses the use of his hands. So now he's a consultant. The vaccine damaged a nerve in his spine that affected his hands. And that was just one guy, but there are a lot of people who were injured from the flu vaccine they don't talk about. How many people you think are going to get injured from a vaccine that has no real research behind it? Just think about that. I'm not telling you not to take it. I'm saying use your heads.
Well, the biggest thing with that, too, is I think some things, and this popped in my head the other day, I barely watched the news, but they were talking about the people that they've tested this vaccine on. So they tested it on healthy people or people that did not have any underlying condition. So that's just one portion, small portion of people that we might test any medical research on. And what they mean by underlying condition, they mean high blood pressure, diabetes, congestive heart failure, things like that. Those are serious conditions. Now, with medical technology, a lot of people living longer and living better quality of life by being medicated with those. Do we even know how this scamdemic virus vaccine is going to interact with those types of medications? So are they taking those most susceptible to this virus and giving them the vaccine? I haven't heard of anything, and then hopefully they are if they're testing this virus correctly, but that's another thing. Those people are going to react so much more volatile and more indifferently than a healthy person would.
Exactly.
Healthy people have gotten this virus. Healthy people have gotten the flu, and I've gotten the flu many, many years ago when I was younger. But how these people with underlying conditions who are older, who are obese, and have all these other, they got the little pill bottle, right, with the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on it, and they open it up, and it's got all 10 pills in it. How's that going to react with this vaccine? Has that been around long enough to know in order to doing the testing for that? So even those who are, and I would say my advice to those who are susceptible to this virus and who are up in age and have all these underlying conditions, I would still personally have caution to taking a vaccine, even if you believe in the virus, because do we even know if this current vaccine has that history with these other mixed medications? I mean, the time you go to a doctor and you have something, you tell them something's feeling funny, they ask, how's it feel funny? What are you taking? Okay, we're going to change this heart medicine for this heart medicine. That'll cure this problem, because there's a history of it. They know you're taking these combinations of medicines, you feel this, change this, that fixes that.
And
history is that.
And exactly, that was my other missed point, is that the vaccine, the short study that was done, I mean, it was super short, like a month or two maybe, it was done on all healthy subjects. So not one person had an underlying condition, not one person was taking medications. So if you have an underlying condition, how's this going to react with you? You don't know. If you're on medication, how's this going to react with you? You don't know. You could just be a healthy dude and you don't know how it's going to react with you. So, with that being said, I tell people all the time, use your head. This vaccine, they're trying to pass it off as the saving grace of America, when in fact, the saving grace of America is your own immune system. If you cut your diet, and let's say you're a sugar monster like I am, and you cut sugar out and you start eating healthy, guess what you're going to do? You're going to not boost, but strengthen your immune system. See, so you don't want to boost your immune system. You want to strengthen it. You want to make it stronger so that it can handle all of these things. Now, the COVID-19, if you have a strong immune system, you are fine, right? But if your immune system is taxed at any point in time when you're exposed, obviously you're up to get it. Not saying you're going to get it, but they don't. If you look at all the studies that have been done, they have not done one study on people who are immune. There are people that are immune to COVID-19, and there's a large percentage of people that are. Don't let them fool you with the bullshit, guys, where they're like, we think that people who are immune can still carry it and spread it. They always say think, may, and could. There's no 100%. And every vaccine, every virus on this planet, there's not one virus that's 100% effective. Meaning it doesn't affect everyone. So be careful with the bullshit when they tell you, this virus, everyone's going to get it. Bullshit. Because you can't. It doesn't work that way. Viruses don't work that way. Every virus, even Ebola, doesn't affect 100% of the people. Right? So you got to keep that in mind when they use the language and they start talking their bullshit. They like, and they listen, they get to you easily through social media. They show you a picture of a kid with sad eyes, and you're like, oh my God, COVID is real. Just because you looked at that one picture of a kid that's unrelated to COVID. It's how they get to us, guys.
Let me get on a rant real quick. I wanted to say this. I was kind of reading through the comments as you were talking. I was listening. So many people feel this virus is real. So I go into public places and I don't have mine on. And I've gotten dirty looks in the bathroom from other guys that kind of look at me and then they'll adjust their mask. And you just got that feeling that they're probably a little bit irritated that you don't have one on.
Or judging you.
9 times out of 10, those men leave the bathroom without washing their damn hands. Wash your damn hands. You just touched yourself. I don't know if you got piss on your hands. Wash yourself. You don't know what's on the little flusher that you just touched to flush it. You don't know what's on the handle of the bathroom when you walked in. There's a reason they put those garbage cans for the hand towels after you dry your hands by the door, because most people are grabbing it with a cloth hand or with a paper toweled hand before they open it and throw their paper towel in there. They don't want to see all those paper towels on the floor. They'd rather see them in a garbage can. Wash your hands 9 times out of 10. Now, I'm not trying to check, scoping people out while they're peeing. That might look a little creepy of me, but I'm noticing 9 times out of 10 guys, they're not washing your hands, but they got their mask on. That's retarded. There's no common sense in that whatsoever. Come on, guys. Think a little bit better. Basic hygiene and basic health will circumvent 110% of anything that we're dealing with. There's no reason for it. All our major diseases in the past were due to unknown hygiene processes. It wasn't until the 1970s that the dental industry understood how what we did with our mouths affected our health and everything else we did. So that even the dental industry isn't even that old. What is it, 50 years now since the 1970s of real progress of what we should do with brushing our teeth and flossing. All these other diseases in the past were due to not knowing that sewage causes diseases, human and both animal sewage. So just be clean. Just wash your hands. You blow your nose, go wash your hands.
Very good.
So many simple hygienic things could circumvent what we're dealing with, but yet I get dirty looks because I'm not wearing a mask and the guy will touch himself using the bathroom and walk out without washing, and I'm the bad guy.
And you know what? And that's a good PSA message right there. Wash your fucking hands when you
Right.
come out of
You want to see the financial prepper turn to the angry prepper? Leave that bathroom without washing your hands. I've called dudes out on it. I ain't afraid.
Nice.
You know?
Nice. So, guys,
One person being a big guy, right? Nobody really combats you on that either. So.
well, yeah, unless they're feeling their oats. But it's always, listen, it's never a guy that's by himself. It's always a guy that's fucking with, like, 20 other dudes. But, such is life, especially here in the city. Wash your hands, please. So, all right, guys. I'm taking the vaccine because
Wash, please. That's funny.
So, Ryan B. Wynn. Ryan B. Wynn's a bit of a not an annoyance. He likes to say the opposite, but he's like, I'm taking the vaccine because dumb Trumpsters won't. Okay. But again, Ryan B. Wynn, when you lose the use of your hands, please reach out to me. I'll send money your way. Because I can guarantee you there's something not right about this vaccine. And any scientist, a real scientist, will tell you that a good vaccine takes up to 12 to 15 years. An emergency vaccine, and I found this out the other day, I thought it was 2 years. It's actually 5 years. That's an emergency vaccine. They did this in 9 months. So you do the math. You actually do your own research, guys. Again, you don't always have to go by what we say. Do your own research. Look it up yourself. Talk to a scientist. They're all going to tell you something's not right, that this was ready so fast. Either A, they actually rushed it, or B, they had it a long time ago, and now they're just releasing it looking like heroes. And not for nothing, but Pfizer and Moderna, they're both having a dick measuring contest on the media now, talking about, well, ours is 95% better. Well, ours is 90% better, but we double checked it, and now it's 95.6% better. I'm like, I've never seen anything like it. So now they're both going back and forward with the bullshit,
Tell you what, how about those two companies getting a competition of who's been sued for more money over medicinal malpractice? Let's see that dick measuring contest.
Oh, well, Pfizer.
Right.
Right, Pfizer was huge with the other lawsuits and the vaccines and the medications and stuff like that. So now we're supposed to trust them with this virus and it's supposed to save our lives and change America? They can absolutely go fuck themselves. It's insane. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen so many drones line up for this. Like, I get it that if you're going to get forced by your job, you could sit there and tell me, I don't want to take it, but I have to. Great. But if you're going to sit there and say, hey, man, I'm taking this because, I have to, that's different. But if you're taking it because I want to be safe, that's not the way to be safe. Taking an researched or studied vaccine is not safe. You're just putting your shit at risk for the most part.
I tell people, and even my clients, when you're making a big financial decision, any decision in life, don't do anything off emotion. Do it off of facts, or at least what you feel matches your morals, ethics, and ideals. Everyone's morals, ethics, and ideals are going to be differently, but as long as they match the way you live your lifestyle, then do it. If you feel the vaccine is going to help you, if you feel you're a healthy person, that's part of your healthy agenda, then take it. I'm not going to stop you from taking it, but based on my own research and things that I've understood, I can't see it being a healthy thing for me or my family, and I won't advocate for it. But if the majority of people feel against it, we need to have more solidarity and community in standing up against things that the majority feel is wrong.
Exactly. And that's the problem we're going to continue to have. because people are just, they don't, first of all, they don't want to stand up. They're like, well, the government said so, so the government must be right, because the government's been right this whole time with this whole COVID thing. You know, and it's just, listen, it's just insane, and it's out of control. And like Pinball Preparedness just said, you know, people are willing to be a guinea pig. You know, so it's listen, I get it. Like you just said, if you have to take it because it's work related, fine. But if you're taking it because you think it's going to help, I don't think it's going to help. I don't think, like the flu vaccine helps some, but it doesn't help everyone. And according to, what is it, overseas somewhere, who the hell was it recently? Sweden, I think it was, maybe. They had the virus just mutated into lynx. Not lynx. What are those little weasel things? Not muskrats. I forgot the name of them. But anyway, they're like weasels.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Ferrets, right. And they just had the... if anybody knows what I'm talking about, please correct me. And they had it jump into ferrets and then back into human. And I'm like, that's virtually impossible. Because epidemiologists said that for it to jump into a minks... Thank you, guys. Minks. For it to jump into a minks, from a human to a minks, from a minks mutate back into a human, takes decades, if not centuries. And this thing went back and forth like that. So there's something
or
wrong.
a very intelligent person with a lab and a lot of money.
Yes, right, exactly. Okay, so who just said getting it together? Thank you for the donation. Urban Prepper, thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it. Glad to see you on here. Also, Urban Prepper, could you get back to me at angryprepper@gmail.com? I'd like to have a talk with you, if that's cool. Other than that, Minks. My wife is yelling at me, and she knows that weasel and minks, aren't they the same damn thing? Or am I wrong?
I don't know. It's like chipmunk or squirrel. What's the difference? There's got to be a difference, but the difference to who?
Yeah, I guess.
I'm not a zoologist. I'm just a regular dude.
Yeah, because everyone's yelling at me, minks. And I'm like, fucking weasel and a minx. They're two fucking furry creatures that scurry on the ground, and they're both furry. But minks, yes. Everyone, and the minks in Denmark were... Denmark, thank you. That's what it was. It wasn't Switzerland. It was Denmark. That's where the thing mutated. And it was just insane. And I have the article. I got to find it, and I'll put it in the description section below. But yeah, minks and weasels, same family. All right, so why are we fucking splitting hairs? Jesus Christ. It's from the same family.
Why are you paying attention to it? Leave it alone.
Yeah, yeah. But anyone buy that's a good one. Nisi said, does anybody buy a weasel coat? All right, fine, fair enough. That was actually good. I enjoyed that one. All right, never forget about. All right, guys. So listen, we are at the hour and a half. We did good tonight. Thank you, Financial Prepper, because
what else you got? I'm good. What more questions you got?
If anybody has any more questions, now's the time to ask, or we are going off. And I'm pretty sure somebody does. When are they going to?
I seen one. I've been kind of reading them here randomly. One person asked, "How do I feel about?" I guess they're asking me, but they asked the question, "What do I feel about having kids during this time?"
Yes.
You know, something my wife and I discussed. I trust in God. We're starting our family. We don't have kids. We're starting now. I'm just trusting God that no matter what happens, He will allow me to be able to provide for my family. So it's our duty to procreate and bring and raise good, wholesome people in this world. So if you're going to have kids, have them if you're going to raise them to be good, wholesome people.
Very good. So this question popped up a few times. Are you a Saints fan?
Well, heck yeah.
Okay. Thought you were going to say, because you stopped. I was like, oh shit, he's going to say no. Very good. I won't bother asking. Nobody likes my question. Billy Bird Outdoors, I'm paying attention now. Ask the damn question, please. Because he asks a lot of questions, and for some reason I keep missing his questions. And I only capture like
random old questions on this thing here.
Well, right, there is. That's the other problem. But I know his name stands out, so...
Like, what's my favorite color balloon? Like, just some random stuff that don't make sense.
Yeah, well, I was asking those questions before, and I was like, you know what, that's stupid. So now that's why we had a big boy conversation today. So,
Right.
Stephanie Homesteader, how long have you been a firefighter for?
Uh, so I did the junior fighter stuff when I was younger. It's probably 5 to 6ish years through the Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts. So we kind of did stuff with them. And then when I moved to the house where I'm at now, I've been there about 8 years. So I've been an adult volunteer firefighter for about 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah, about 8 years.
Very good. Very good. Why is it echoing? Someone says we're echoing now. Whatever. It doesn't matter at this point. Shot equals mark of the beast. All right, so that question, the mark of the beast, I'm not going to get into, guys. And I don't know. Do you want to speak on that?
No, I believe I'm very biblical and Christian. I'm a Catholic. I believe there is a mark of the beast. I would say anything that's being forced by a higher entity that doesn't seem logical or, say, godly or Christian may be considered a mark of the beast. I don't think we should be forced to do anything, regardless of the false implications of people or government saying that it's for the good of the many.
Very good. And someone asks, where is it? It was CS Prepper. She asks, do you invest in livestock? I lost that question, but that was something similar to that.
Livestock, like
cows, chickens, squirrels,
no,
minks.
We don't have any yet. We got 6 acres. We intended to, but since we're probably going to make a move a few states over, kind of towards the Midwest here in the next couple months, we don't have anything right now. I don't want to dig too deep of roots if we're just going to pack up and move and go to somewhere else. But whenever we move to, we definitely want to have kind of a mini sustainable homestead. So we would have some smaller stuff, goats and chickens and rabbits and things like that.
All right. Sorry about that. Her question is, do you invest in the stock market?
Okay, stock market. I do not personally. I do have clients that do, but I will not recommend you put the majority of your wealth, your net worth, or your retirement in the stock market. If you're a person who personally likes a certain company and wants to invest because you or like that company's say business ethics, or if you're just someone who wants to put a small portion or whatever you have that you don't only invest in the stock market if you have a portion of money you're willing to lose. Plain and simple. How about that?
Very good.
If you depend on it for retirement, do not put it in anything that's going to go up and down that's volatile. So if you want to play around in the stock market, go for it. If you got something that you're willing to lose, go for it. Put it in the stock market. Invest in something you like. Try to do the penny trading or anything else. Otherwise, no, I personally don't have anything in the stock market. The majority of my clients don't either.
All right. Well, very good. That was a good answer. That because I've heard that answer before through, obviously guys in the firehouse, there's somebody who's like financial expert here, a guy who builds homes there. So I've heard that a couple times from guys. So that's pretty good. Let's see. Ask Martha Stewart of investments. All right, whatever. So I think that's it for tonight. We hit we are at hour and 28. Thank you guys. For those of you that haven't already, if you don't mind, hit the like button or the thumbs down, whatever makes you happy, whatever floats your boat. If not, could you head over to Financial Prepper's channel, like and subscribe to that? I know a bunch of you guys have done so. So thank you for that, and he thanks you. And Paul Taylor, survival prepping for normal people. I will interview him if I get his email or he contacts me, because contacting other preppers is like not a pain in the ass. It's just that we all get so many emails that we always miss it. So if you know Kyle from Prepping Survival for Normal People, do me a favor, have him reach out to me or give me his email and I'll reach out to him. Whatever it is, I will gladly do the interview with him. Financial Prepper is going to do, again, more videos on how to prep financially and where to put your money, because I think that's the gist of his business, and he can help you with that. So you can also contact him on that as well. What's your Email.
Yes. So everyone, I'm kind of reading the comments as we go on. Some fantastic questions and very important questions. I wish I could answer them all. They would take quite a few different videos to touch on each subject and topic. My email is thefinancialprepper@pm.me. So if you go to any one of my videos in the description or the About Me section of my YouTube channel, I have the email address there. Send me your questions. If we didn't touch on your question tonight, send that to me. I may send you an email directly to kind of help you out, but a lot of these questions you guys sent are great topics. Half of them I have written down to do a video in the future. The other half, I'm writing them down now to do a video on. They're great questions. So send me those questions.
All right, guys, you heard that. Financial Prepper. This is the guy you're going to go to get your financial prepping advice. You're never going to hear me talk about finance because I am the absolute worst. But I will be picking Financial Prepper's brain as we go along. And there is actually a couple things I'm going to ask you after this is done.
Sure.
All right, guys. So, other than that, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Thank you for my moderators. I appreciate you guys. And, sorting everything out. Financial Prepper, thank you for being on tonight. And listen, this was a good time and people enjoyed it. So this is good. All right, guys?
One last thing.
Go ahead.
My YouTube channel exists to educate. It does also exist to kind of help bring people to my business. But if anything, first and foremost, I want to educate you. Education is power. Knowledge is power. If you knew how to be more independent financially, you own the power. So if you ever listen to my videos in the past, now, or in the future, if you can tune out the pitch that I may be giving you, if that turns you off, if you can tune that out and at least absorb the education of it, please absorb that. I want it to be beneficial to you. And if at any point in the future, if anybody who subscribes to my channel sees that I'm going off topic or I'm not giving something that's beneficial, call me out on it. Send me an email. Hey, you're not talking about X, Y, Z or a particular topic. I think we need to hear that. Let me know, because if anything, I want to be helping you guys. Let me know what you need help on.
Very good. All right, guys. So that was it for tonight. That was a good last minute message, actually. And he's gonna help you whatever you need help with, or do a video on whatever you need done on. All right, guys. Again, thank you for joining me. Thank you for a good time, Financial Prepper. See you guys in the next one.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.